This is one of my favorite stories, so I'd like to share it with you today. And it's called The Legend of the Doozer Who Didn't. In old Doozer legends that old Doozers know, a Doozer supposedly lived long ago. They called him the Doozer Who Didn't, I'm told, and if he were here, he'd be older than old. When the Doozer Who Didn't was still very small, no one could guess he was different at all. He played with his friends in a radish dust glen, building radish dust castles and radish dust men. He was nice and quite bright, and his parents could see that he seemed to be all that a Doozer could be. He worked just as hard as he could while in school and carefully studied the first Doozer rule. Building is good, working is right. Work is what makes every Doozer heart light. Nobody knows why the trouble first started. This story is not for the weak or faint-hearted. When awakened one morning, he stretched and he said, "I think I'd just rather stay here in bed." "You're sick," said his mother, suspecting a fever. "I'm fine," said the Doozer, not wanting to grieve her. "I've never felt better. In fact, I'm as fit as can be. I just feel like doing, well, nothing, you see." His mother could not see, for she was aware that school was beginning and he should be there. She called in his father, who frowned and looked stern. "Now, son," he said firmly, "you simply must learn." "Why must I learn?" the small Doozer inquired. "I'm late," said his father, "and I could be fired. So get out of that bed, head out like you should. I'll explain it at dinner. Goodbye and be good." So the Doozer Who Didn't got up, I believed. He washed and he dressed and he got ready to leave. But he quietly said as he went out the door, "I don't understand what all this working is for." The next sign of trouble occurred when he'd grown. He was on the first shift. The noon whistle had blown. He ate all of his lunch. He was then heard to say, "I don't think I'll work for the rest of the day." The Doozers could barely believe their own ears. Stop working? Why, no one had done it in years. In fact, no one had ever stopped that they knew. It simply was not what a Doozer should do. Not work, it's unheard of. It just isn't done. All Doozers keep busy. For them, work is fun. After all, that's the first thing they learn while in school. It's right at the heart of the first Doozer rule. Working is good, building's okay. Doozers would rather work hard than play. The Doozer Who Didn't just couldn't care less. He just simply, well, liked doing nothing, I guess. And when he stopped working, he started to sing. And no matter who asked, he would not do a thing. While he sang, he made up silly games, like filling the helmets and naming the names, in which he named all the names that he knew, as fast as he could. When he stopped, he was through. But then, says the tale, as he sat and he sat, that Doozer began to grow terribly fat. He grew bigger and bigger and bigger in size, since he wasn't getting enough exercise. And then, also due to extreme inactivity, and partially caused by his total passivity, he began growing fur and a tail, and so tall that he hardly resembled a Doozer at all. He was totally useless and just in the way. All he did was eat the Doozer's construction all day, and a legend goes on to explain what it can. So it was at the Doozers that the Fraggles began. Well, anyway, that's what the Doozers all say, that a Fraggle is born when a Doozer must play. And all Mother Doozers remember this rule and warn all their children who won't go to school. Schooling is good, working is right. So do all your homework and study all night. For if you stop working or building, you see, you'll turn into Fraggles as quick as can be.